I'm here with Chris Wright from Know Your Vote. We're here in Las Vegas, live on the Strip, and we're talking about the 7 candidates who'll be on the debate stage tonight for the Democratic nomination. We're going to go through them one by one and talk about their pathway to victory. So Chris, over to you. Talk to us about your analysis of how Pete Buttigieg could end up winning the nomination.
I think Pete Buttigieg is poised really well actually right now. If you look at things first by the numbers only, Pete has the largest amount of delegates currently between Iowa and New Hampshire. One of the top issues right now is the U.S. has been locked in wars for decades. Of the top 7 candidates, only Pete Buttigieg has experience, not just working intelligence, but he was deployed. You look on the right side of things, we have Trump, Cadet Bone Spurs, who didn't even serve. I think if Pete is able to, be a powerful speaker like he does, if we cover topics like the Middle East, I think Pete could do really well here. And he stands as a very strong contrast to Trump. I think a lot of people are looking for a leader that they can follow, that they can believe in, who comes across as honest, particularly when it comes to topics as serious as sending troops abroad, some of whom may not return. I think a candidate like Pete, who has been there himself, lends so much credibility. I think that's one of his absolute strong points, and I think it also positions him well against Trump. Pete also, he kind of didn't have the name recognition a lot of the other candidates did before the candidacy, and yet he's still surging. So I think Pete has a lot of opportunities here tonight if he's able to have a strong debate performance. I'm personally excited to see what he has to say and see how he does after tonight.
Is there a risk that he's been overshadowed recently after the Klobuchar surge and now Mike Bloomberg's entry into the race, Bernie Sanders running away in national polls? How does he find his space back in the race?
I think if you look at it, you have a lot of centrists who have kind of surged, rise and fall as kind of their topics come to bear. I think at this point, it's obvious, you can't have 4 more centrist or moderate candidates that all have 15, 20, 25%. So obviously people are going to fall off. I think some of it is going to depend on the luck of what the moderators happen to ask, and I think some of it's going to depend on how much they can inject their own personal philosophy and viewpoints into it. We've seen some of the candidates talk passionately about Medicare for all and some of the topics they're excited about. I think if Pete can hold the conversation into directions where he has the most expertise, I don't think anyone else will be able to stop him. And I think in a substantive issues-based debate against Trump, I think Pete can clean up. So I think he's got a real opportunity here. He obviously has a lot of support from him. A surprising entry, frankly, from 10, 20 years ago, where gay rights wasn't even a mainstream issue. So now we have a very high-profile gay candidate for president. I think it's a very interesting time, and I'm excited to see what Pete can bring to the table.
We're all talking about how Nevada is the first electorally diverse state on the slate for the nomination. How does that affect Pete?
Absolutely. I think there's a number of candidates who have kind of, Joe Biden is the first one that comes to mind as someone who's always been, spoken about as someone who's got a wide coalition of support, coalition being the key term, being able to pull in these disparate groups and have them work as one. I think this is going to be an interesting time. Obviously, Iowa and New Hampshire have much less diversity than Nevada does. So I think this is, not just kind of a test for Pete. I think it's a test for all the candidates to find out who actually has a viable coalition. The reality is we need the best candidate to beat Donald Trump who has a very strong base. And the only way we have a chance to beat him is if we can build our own strong coalition. So I think this is, for really all of the candidates, going to be one of the very first real tests of how good they are at building, that big tent, as they say, and inviting other people in.
Thanks, Chris. We'll see how the debate goes tonight and see if Mayor Pete can find his way into the conversation and rebuild his momentum in the race. Thank you.